What's going on, guys? Devil's Advocate Boxing. I'm gonna put out a video on my prediction for Floyd Mayweather's next four opponents. Um, who knows after this contract is up whether he will continue to fight or not. But let's just assume that these are, in fact, his last four fights. Um, this is actually going to be a three-part series. In this video, I'm going to break down, like I said, who I think he's going to fight, what makes the most sense, uh, which fighters are the most probable, and who I think is next in line. Part 2 will be his biggest threats at 147, and Part 3 will be his biggest threats at 154 or above. And in this video, for the most probable four fights, I'm also going to throw in two wild cards. Um, two fights that, in my opinion, could happen, but probably won't. Alright, anyways, let's get to the first pick. As some of you might already know, when they put a fighter on someone's undercard, that's a telltale sign that they want to match these two guys up. And in this case, it would be the winner of the Danny Garcia-Lucas Matisse fight, which we all know Danny Garcia won. So his next fight, I think it's a good possibility that Danny Garcia is next in line. However, sadly, I really don't think Danny Garcia has much of a chance in this fight at all. I think he'll get toyed with the same way that Canelo Alvarez did. Danny Garcia is a good, well-rounded boxer. I respect him. I just don't think that he has what it takes to beat Floyd. And keep in mind, I've said it once and I'm going to say it again, history tends to repeat itself. The way it is with professional boxers is they could get old at any given time. So, the Floyd Mayweather that fought Canelo Alvarez, I think he beats Danny Garcia easy. But, like I said, Floyd could get old overnight, and that could be a good fight. Who knows? The next guy on the list is the winner of the Devin Alexander Amir Khan fight. I believe that Devin Alexander will win that fight. It's not a sure thing, but let's just say he does. I think that is a pretty decent fight. When he was going to fight Robert Guerrero, but it wasn't signed yet, and he came out on Twitter saying he would fight Alexander, everyone was outraged. But in my opinion, that probably would have been a better fight than the Robert Guerrero fight. And the way I see it, it would probably be a more competitive fight than the Canelo fight. Okay, call me crazy, I really don't give a fuck, but Devin Alexander has the hand speed, he's got the foot speed, he's slick, he's a southpaw, even though Floyd Mayweather has the right hand to neutralize any southpaw. It's still a little bit more of a challenge to fight a southpaw for most orthodox fighters, just because of the fact that there are so many more orthodox fighters out there, so many more right-handed fighters out there, and yeah, I see that as being a pretty decent fight. Um, if it's Amir Khan who wins, I know they really want to put him against Amir Khan, which a lot of people are outraged about that too. But I mean, like I said, once again, call me crazy. I think that fight might be interesting for maybe 4 rounds. Amir Khan is probably has faster hands than Floyd Mayweather. He's got quick feet. He's not just gonna stand there. He's gonna throw combinations and move. And I still see Floyd Mayweather beating both of these guys, both Alexander and Khan. But I don't think it would be a bad boxing match. Um, in Amir Khan's case, it wouldn't be bad for a couple rounds until Mayweather figures him out. But yeah, on to the next guy. I think, especially if it's 3 fights from now, um, it could be someone like Keith One Time Thurman. And I'm a huge Keith One Time Thurman fan, so if I sound a little biased, I apologize. But I think Keith Thurman is a sleeping giant. I think that, you know, he's got good hand speed, he's got good foot speed, he knows how to move around. He's well rounded. He's already shown us that he can adjust. He's got a great trainer in Dan Birmingham, so you can count on them having a good game plan. And you know, like I said, especially if this is 3 fights from now, Floyd Mayweather's going to be older, and if he loses even a half step, this fight could be very dangerous for him. You know, we all know Keith Thurman is probably the hardest hitter in the 147-pound division, and like I said, I think it could be a dangerous fight for Floyd Mayweather. Um, yeah, and the fourth fight, I could see him actually giving us the Manny Pacquiao fight. You know, if these last 4 fights are legacy fights for him and he really wants to prove that he's the greatest of all time, uh, do I think the Manny Pacquiao fight would be that competitive? No, not really. I never thought that it was, even when Manny Pacquiao was in his prime. I just think that it's a terrible style matchup for for Manny Pacquiao. Anything that Marquez could do, Floyd Mayweather can do much better, in my opinion. And Manny Pacquiao can't really deal with boxers or counterpunchers or people that can take a step back and use lateral movement. That's just my opinion. Um, the reason I think that he'll take this fight is because if he is looking at legacy right now, like I believe he truly is, that's the only fight where if Floyd Mayweather retires right now, you will have a lot of people saying that he never fought Manny Pacquiao. And even then, you still have a lot of people that think that Manny Pacquiao would have beat Floyd Mayweather. And like I said, I don't think that's true. But, you know, I think that's something that he has to give us if he is really thinking about legacy. And I think he maybe he will, regardless of the circumstances, especially since, Manny Pacquiao is more desperate than ever. He knows that if he wants to cash out, that is the biggest payday he'll ever get. I think regardless of what people say about how the fight has lost its luster or lost interest, I think everyone would still watch it, and I think that it would be a huge pay-per-view. And yeah, those are the four fights that I think are most probable for Floyd Mayweather finishing his career. Now, my two wild cards. The first one is Sergio Martinez. This fight has been talked about for a long time. Of course, now that he beat Canelo, you have the idiots that say he's ducking Sergio Martinez and he needs to fight Sergio Martinez. Um, I think that's a great legacy fight for Floyd Mayweather. I think he beats Sergio Martinez easy, and even if it's at 160, I think that would just add to Floyd Mayweather's legacy if he were to take Sergio Martinez's, you know, lineal championship at 160. Um, and Sergio Martinez has stated in the past that he can make 154. I think that fight would be even easier at 154 because Sergio Martinez is getting old and, he's about Canelo's size. And I think that he would have trouble cutting down to 154. He hasn't been at 154 in years. And even for a young 23-year-old Canelo, I know Canelo is killing himself to make 154. So, uh, yeah, like I said, I see that fight being even easier at 154. Um, the other wild card is Adrian the Problem Broner. I mean, I know that these guys have said time and time again that it will never happen. They're friends. Uh, you know, um, the general consensus is that they're not going to fight each other. They've both said that they wouldn't fight each other. But in my opinion, all it takes is for the two big egos to collide, and it could happen. I mean, this is boxing. Anything could happen, especially if the money's right. You know, let's say they spar with each other one day, and Adrian Broner feels like he got the best of Floyd, or maybe that he could get the best of Floyd. Um, all it takes is for these guys to get into a little argument, and boom, the fight suddenly becomes a big possibility. Um, you already hear Adrian Broner taking little jabs at Floyd, saying things like he doesn't want to be the guy to give Floyd his first loss, blah, blah, blah. So I think this fight is a little more possible than people are speculating. And once again, if this fight is a couple fights down the line, maybe Floyd Mayweather does start losing a few steps and looking a little older, I think Adrian Broner has a chance. Right now, uh, the Floyd Mayweather that fought Canelo, I don't think Adrian Broner has much of a chance at all. But, 2 years from now, who knows? And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think.